The following information may make you feel smarter, but will not actually increase your IQ.
I got him!
So don't get cocky.
This is about what's going to happen.
Welcome to
DeaconLive.
DeaconLive.
Live.
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, the mystery solved of the Black Wedding Ring bans, and also a teacher hypnotizes students that later die, and why this man is telling a flight attendant, Jesus is coming for you. And who is Joe, and why is he so hungry? All this and much more will be discussed here on Deacon Live. And for the next 60 minutes or so, we'll get you up to date on local news stories. Local news stories? No, just regular viral stories and news articles that you might have missed over the last several days, or we'll be talking about it here in the upcoming few. How are you? How are things going? Are you doing all right? Are you getting along with everyone? That's all we care about. Bear with me as I'm dealing with the lighting situation here. Does that make me look hot? I mean, outside of being somewhat attractive myself. Does that light make me look hot? Let me go back to that one. No, it looks good. That's a good angle. And the reason why I'm worried about the lighting and stuff is that we're going live right now on YouTube. So jump on over there, search Deacon Live, all one word. You can see us live here in the studio. And this is just a little trial issue. Not an issue, a little trial thing that we've been trying to do, or something we've been launching or wanting to launch here for some time now. So it's little baby steps, as my wife says. Little baby steps in getting this thing up and running and doing what we do here on the show. Now, what's on everyone's mind right now and what's been taking over the airwaves, over the media sources and whatnot, is this story right here. A trans dad shoots his wife, 3 kids in a horrifying family dispute at a crowded Rhode Island hockey rink arena. Is that what it is? Arena? So what happened was this gentleman, why my headphones sound? There we go. A little bit better. Got to turn them up a little bit. So this guy, Robert, what's his name? Robert Dorgan, sorry, Dorgan. The shooter, 65-year-old Robert Dorgan, who also goes by Roberta Esposito because he's trans for some reason. And I'm going to switch over to camera. Is it camera 3 that we do this? Camera 3. So here he is. I don't want to say he's trans. He's got like tattoos all over his arms and stuff. He's got turquoise jewelry on, and he's posing in front of this like Harley Davidson motorcycle. He's got goofy sunglasses on, and he's got like the old school Sammy Hagar haircut. You know, that blonde with the curls and stuff. He doesn't look trans at all. Well, I mean, who am I to say? You know, I'm not a professional by any means. He just looks like a glam rocker, and I guess he's saying that he's trans. So let's find out what actually happened. A twisted trans father shot his wife, 3 kids, and a family's friend in the stands at a high school hockey tournament in Rhode Island this past Monday, sending the panicked crowd streaming and fleeing for the exits. 2 people were killed and 3 others are in critical condition at the hospitals after the gunfire erupted in the Lynch Arena in Pawtucket around 2:30 p.m., according to the cops, who described the incident as a targeted family dispute. The shooter, 56-year-old Robert Dorgan, like I said, goes by Roberta Esposito, died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, the police said. So let's find out a little bit more. Dorgan was the father of a senior at the North Providence High School, one of his 6 schools participating in the co-op games during this hockey tournament that they were at. He shot his son's mother and their 3 children, and a family friend who was there spectating the games. The mother died at the scene, and one of the children died in the hospital. The woman who has been seen leaving the Pawtucket Police Department following the deadly shooting rampage told reporters, "My father was the shooter," and claimed that he was plagued by mental health issues. "He shot my family," the quote continues. "He is dead now." She's adding that, yes, he was very, very sick. The live stream of the hockey match captured most of the spectators and players as they dove toward the floor as approximately 11 gunshots ran out. Many players on the bench scrambled as they pushed and squeezed out of the box, where some of them were ditching their skates in the process. Others vaulted over the barriers surrounding the rink and headed straight for the locker room doors. So, you know, they say, let's go back to me now. They say that transgender is not a mental disease. They say transgender or anything of that where your identity is not what they say it is. They say, no, we were born this way. This is the way we are. I agree that maybe it's a small percentage. I mean, a very, very small percentage of the population are born with non-gender specific genitals, non-specific, hormones or whatever that's in their body. Because I've seen them, especially in this area where I live at. I've seen them at the Walmart. I'm like going, I know you're a girl and you're trying very hard to be a girl, but you have a beard. You have, facial hair. Kind of like when women go through menopause, they start getting masculine facial hair because of, yada, yada, yada. This guy at 56 years old decided, you know what? I'm not a guy anymore. I'm a girl. I'm a rock and roll girl. And Dad, you're stupid. You're sick. There's something wrong with you. Who knows what led up to the sickness? Was he on drugs? Was he on something? Mentally, he can't be married with 3 kids and then all of a sudden he's now sick. I say he can't, but it just doesn't happen that way. There's a progression there. He made a decision to get married. He made a decision to have 3 kids. I'm sure they're, 2, 5, and 7. They're not like, on top of each other. They're probably spread out. So this went on for probably, several years and stuff. I don't know. He's got a kid in high school. So there's an old enough to be in high school, I guess. Mental issue. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes because there's something wrong when you say, today I'm a shoelace, you got to refer to me as a shoelace or whatever the joke is that's out there. No, you're just confused. Why do you feel this way? Sometimes I feel a little different. Here comes the stuff. Sometimes I feel a little different, like I don't feel 100%, but I don't sit there and take out 15 kids or whatever like that because of my mental health. I've got to kill somebody, that's not the answer. Why is it always the answer? I'm sick, I'm mentally, people don't want to say I'm a woman, I have to kill somebody to prove my point. Why is that always the answer? It's never, I'm going to invest in the 401k with all my money, It's never the opposite as far as, you got a mental health or whatever. So this guy, Robert Esposito, killed himself, killed his family. Unfortunately, the wife had to die. She was probably going to leave him, divorce him, and take everything away from him and put him in a home. Was going to Baker Act him or whatever they do with people that are mentally healthy or mentally ill like that. And he probably had enough. And it just happened to fall out right in the middle of this hockey game. So there you go. He's out there. Well, not anymore. He's dead. All right, when we come back, this guy went to CVS to get his uncle his meds up in New York and didn't make it. And I'll tell you what happened to him in that horrible snowstorm that came through. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. We'd love for you to join the podcast. The way you can be part of the show is go over to prophetradio.com, PROPHET radio.com. At the very top of the page says, Be Heard. Leave a message for Deacon Live. We broadcast every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a little town called Marshville. We did a little live stream there at the beginning, just trying to work out the quirks and the bugs and all that. Eventually, we will be doing that for the whole entire show. So if you caught the little beginning of it, you can see a couple hiccups and stuff that happen in real time as we try to get everything situated here and making sure we create a great product for you and a project for me that you guys can all enjoy and be part of the Deacon Live family. We're also working on the website. So if you see the website's kind of choppy and stuff, don't worry. Everything still works. We've been moving stuff around. We're getting ready to switch everything over to a more mainstream, so you don't have to hunt for everything and search for everything. And it's going to be better all the way around with our sponsors and advertisers and just in general, so you can find stuff a little easier over on the website. And that's coming up here in the next 30 days, 60 days. Well, it can't be 30 days because we're going on a European tour. Yep. My wife and I are going over to Europe for 2 weeks, so you'll have to listen to Best Of or something like that. Go back and listen to the past podcast and get caught up on that. Now, speaking of going on a flight over to Europe, this man right here, it seems to be a regular occurrence whenever we see someone sorry to have... Here we go, can't read. Still can't read. Got to fix that later on. It seems to be a regular occurrence where we see some sorry soul having a childish meltdown on an airplane. This is what airports and flying, what is it about airports and flying that brings out the worst in people? In a clip gone viral on American Airlines passenger who clearly thinks he is the main character of his own delusional fantasy. He is heard berating the member of the airline staff, accusing her of being an illegal immigrant. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and turn this box over and sit on it. The incident took place on board of a Boeing 737 in Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. The passenger's behavior left onlookers stunned, and individuals nearby decided to record the man's tantrum. He can be heard yelling at the female attendant, "I'm an American and you are illegal." She responds, telling him, "I've lived here my whole entire life, sir. Whatever, you are a racist." But unfortunately, that doesn't stop the man from continuing his racist rant. MAGA grandpa kicked off a plane for threatening to call ICE. Is that what happened? So let's see. He was accused of he accused a woman of buying an illegal Social Security number before turning the rest of the cabin and claiming, I saw her uncles and aunts and cousins swim in the goddamn Rio Grande. All right, so I'm going to switch over to camera 3 here. So let's watch his video. And don't forget, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video over on our YouTube channel. You can see the full entire podcast over there as well. Just search DeaconLive, all one word, and then podcast, and you can see all the past shows that we've been having over there, we're still having them over there. So here we go. Let's find out what's going on with this guy.
Why?
Here he goes.
I'm American. You're the illegal. Yeah, you are. You're from Laredo.
You're from Laredo.
I've been here my whole life.
No, you haven't.
Whatever.
You bought an illegal Social Security number.
Social Security number.
I saw her and her uncles and aunts and all cousins swim the goddamn Rio Grande.
And he's laughing about it.
I'm from Tucson and Fort Worth.
He's like standing in front of the plane like he's doing a 5-minute tight setup there.
And she comes from the damn mail.
He's making fun of her.
She can't say, well, open the door. Now I'm getting claustrophobic. This is going to be a problem if I don't get out of here.
So what's happening is they're trying to disembark, and he's standing at the door that, she's got to open. She's waiting for the gangplank to come over. And in the meantime, this guy's standing there berating her.
Okay, we're going to I need a doctor or CPR or 911. Okay, this is it. I've got to sit down. I
need a doctor or a CPR or 911. Any of those people will do. Who do you work for? I'm a 911. Oh, you're just a 911? There you go.
No. Oh, God.
Oh, he's faking that he's falling down.
Jesus. I'm coming to you, Jesus.
He's got a drink in his hand. He's hammered.
Jesus, mighty God, help me.
Now he's laying on the floor. There's people with their palms in their faces and the faces in their palms going, Jesus Christ, this guy. A couple college kids over there. Now he's laying on the floor crying.
You can see my crying videos on TikTok and Instagram.
Now he's plugging his TikTok and Jesus Christ, guy, pull it together. What is the deal? He thinks he's being funny. First of all, he's flying from Dallas to wherever. I don't know. It didn't say where they were going to. And now he's claiming that there's a lot of Mexican people in Texas. I mean, it's just a given. It's right there next to Mexico. It's their back door. So yes, there's probably a large community of Mexican people in Texas. Now, I don't know how many are illegal. I don't know how many are, legal, but you have to have some kind of background check. You have to have some kind of citizenship here in the United States to even be on an American Airlines plane, let alone, you have to have passport, all the legal documentation if you're going to fly. But if you're a worker there, someone who's working for them, you have to have some kind of documentation that you live here in the United States. Some people, and it's the airports, just take them off. If you mess up like this, you get banned. That's it. And it'll cut this out all the way. It'll just stop. No one will do this anymore. The fighting, the screaming, and all that stuff. You do that anywhere else, you get what happens. You do that anywhere else, you get banned. You're not allowed to come back to Walmart. You're not allowed to come back to wherever, the business, the establishment. They will not let you back in. Why can't we do that on airplanes too? Hey, you know what? You ran your mouth. You did this. You did that. You're banned. You're banned. Now, granted, he didn't do anything malicious. He didn't hit the girl. He didn't punch the girl. He didn't cause a quote-unquote disturbance for the most part. He was just up there flapping his gums. Now, this guy right here was doing more than flapping his gums. He was chattering his teeth. And the reason why I say that is because a hardworking New York City church volunteer tripped and fell while picking up his prescriptions during a cold snap and then died outside in the freezing weather when no one bothered to help him. All right, let's find out what happened to this guy. A church volunteer has died in New York City on a New York City bench in the freezing cold while picking up medicine for his loved one after he slipped. And no one called for help because there was no one out there, dummy. Philip oh God, here we go. Puma. It says, I'm going to say Puma, but it's P-I-U-M-A. I'm going to say Puma. Puma was found outside the Key Food supermarket, only 5 blocks away from his home in Queens on January 27th, after the frigid night where temperatures sank below 15 degrees. The 47-year-old was one of 14 people who died from what the New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani has described as one of the longest, most sustainable cold stretches our city has endured in years, without any signs of it warming up. The afternoon before the tragedy, Puma, a volunteer at the All Saints Episcopal Church, left his home around 1:30 to pick up his uncle's prescription at CVS, according to the New York Times. Louis Palacio, who manages the Key Foods, told the Daily News that Puma walked in the store and he had a bloody nose and assumed that he had been drinking. Of course, it's a cold snap. You know, we gotta do something. Sitting in the house, we'll go crazy. He said that the manager asked if he needed help, and he said, "Are you okay?" Or I said to him, "Are you okay? You need to go somewhere? You need the police?" He responded by saying, "No, I'm okay." Puma's stepfather, John Sandrowski, said officials told him that his son had fallen twice, possibly from the bench outside, broken his nose, and injured his eye socket, according to the Times. He was hammered, and the cold weather doesn't help either. Polanco, the manager of the store, told the outlet that the church volunteer was in the supermarket around 6 p.m., stumbling when he purchased 2 jars of peanut butter before sitting on the bench outside. Well, priorities, you know. About 3 hours later, a manager was closing the store. He asked Puma, "Everything okay?" In which Polanco said to him, he told him yes. Security footage showed Puma falling over, lying across the bench shortly after 10 p.m., according to the outlet. After that blistering cold night, Polanco described seeing Puma around 6 a.m. So there he goes. I mean, he got drunk, passed out, and died. Do you remember a little while back, we found the actual details of what happened, though, that those 3 Kansas City Chiefs, they were having a little after party after the Chiefs game or something like that at the guy's house, and the guy went inside, and his three friends sat outside in the freezing cold, and they all froze to death because they were high on fentanyl. That's what they determined. They were doing cocaine, they were doing fentanyl. He said, "Dudes, I'm going inside. You can, keep the party out here." And went outside, and they were freaking popsicle sticks. This is probably what happened to this guy. He was probably so drunk, so hammered, out of his mind. But no, he's a church volunteer. They don't do that. Church people do not do that. They're in God's graces. Well, guess what? You'd be surprised what happens behind closed doors, no matter who you are. Preacher, parishioner, altar boy, even the people in the choir. There's no escaping this. All right, when we come back, you ever wonder why some people have a black, like a wedding ring, those... what do they call those? Not Euro rings, but like activity rings. They're like rubber or silicone or something like that. And they're black. And you're like going, why would you have a black ring? Well, we'll discuss that when we come back. And it's going to make you look at your coworkers a little bit different about that. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. And the reason why you're going to do that is because I post all these different articles up there for you so you can read them, share them with your friends. You can see all the different stuff that happens, not during the show, but all the different like little short length films. Are they films, reels? What are they called now? Well, reels are on film. Films are on reels. Girls are on film. Duran. But no, go over to Facebook. Make sure you give us a follow over there. And all the stories that we talk about here during the show, you can see it in real time. Share them with your friends. Pass it along. It's always a great follow, especially if you're tired of your doom scrolling that you're going through right now. So check us out over on Facebook. That's Deacon Live, all one word, over on Facebook. Give us a follow. Now, we just came out of almost said Thanksgiving. I always say Thanksgiving for some reason, but we're just coming out of, Valentine's Day. And you always hear story, desperate people trying to get dates. Some people will put, like on Facebook, they'll say, I'll have, if you need a Valentine's date or you don't want to go somewhere by yourself, I'll have dinner with you. Or is it like a Christmas party or something like that? Like an office Christmas party. I'll be your date type deal. And you see people post like rates and stuff. And some are serious and some are kind of tongue-in-cheek type stuff. And then you always get the one guy who'll post something like on a billboard. Will you marry me, Teresa? And Teresa, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. Blah, blah, blah. Well, this woman right here, a desperate 42-year-old woman blew a fortune on a Marry Me billboard alongside of Highway 101, finally gets a date, but it's at a cost. Love may be free, but not for a woman who's plastered a Marry Me billboards across a busy road for her Valentine's Day date. People were shocked to see how much I spent. Lisa Catalino, there we'll go with that one, told the California Post. She says, I will definitely release a financial breakdown when I'm all done and I'm engaged. The splashy campaign Catalino launched in fall of 2025 generated more than 4,000 applications through her website. Only 4,000, huh? Is that a testament to how many people look at the billboards and actually respond to them? I mean, that's kind of a gauge there. Is your money well spent on the billboard if you're only going to get 4,000 applications from fall? Let's say from October to now, 4 months, 5 months? I don't know. But there's some studies that should show that right now. She then went through each application, narrowing the pool down to about 50 men and then 20 before finally landing on the first 5 dates back in fall. Catalino's Valentine's Day outing, not with the candidate from the initial batch of applications, wasn't a first meeting, but with someone that she's been seeing for about a month now. Come on! Look at these billboards I put up, but I just want you. I just want you. Maybe this was her push to get the guy that she was kind of hitting towards to actually come to her and say, hey, you know what? I'm right here in front of you. It's one of those rom-com things. I'm here all along. I've been in front of you this whole entire time. That type deal. Maybe that's what it was. Let's find out more what this lady did. The pair went on a romantic comedy. The pair went on to see a romantic comedy before heading to some home-cooked dinner that night, opting to keep things simple and relaxed rather than have braved the crowds at the restaurants. While she's not decided on exclusivity, Catalino says she's enjoying the dating process and meeting new people. She says it was simultaneously the most stressful time of my life, but also the most magical thing that's ever happened to me. Catalino says when asking if the search was worth it, the whole entire time I've been optimistic. That's what this will happen, and it'll all work out in the long run. Any man that she goes out with requires to sign an NDA to protect both herself and the men, preventing. Stop scrolling around. I hate when the ads just pop up right in the middle of the thing. Preventing anyone from leaking any details or having ulterior motives. I just really wanted to provide protection for myself and protection for them as well, she said. Catalino said the bulk of the expenses had gone towards the billboard advertisement, with placements running along Highway 101 between Santa Clara and South San Francisco. She says, since I don't have billboards in San Francisco itself, I opted to do taxi toppers there. So she's got taxi toppers, billboards, and all this other stuff. In San Francisco, she supplemented the freeway ads on with the digital taxi toppers, which at their peak ran on about 20 cabs. So I've done digital billboards too for numerous things. They're cheap. You can go, I think it's a blip, what's it called? Blip advertisement, blip banners or something like that. And you pay basically pennies. I mean, pennies on those advertisements for the blips. And it's generated randomly and stuff. So there she goes. She spent all this money and her love was right there in front of her the whole time. Well, they just had dinner and saw a movie or something like that. Now, this... Hold on. I got to find where I'm at here. I switched my things up here. Here we go. So I've seen people, and my wife is one of them. that she will not wear her wedding ring and wedding band. And the reason why my wife does not wear it is because she rides horses. She rides horses and trains and all that stuff. And she has gloves on sometimes, and sometimes she worries about the diamond falling out and all the other stuff. A good setting, it should not fall out, but still, nonetheless, she's constantly, with the horses and stuff and washing and attacking the horses and stuff. The wedding ring is just one of those things that you have to worry about while it's on her hand. So she bought herself one of those silicone rings that's like camouflage, yeehaw, good old country girl, right? But there's a lot of people out there that do these little rings. Now, if you're looking at me here on the YouTube channel, this is my ring. Let's see. There's my ring. It looks like it's just 2 silver bands, and then there's a gold emblem or engraving in the center of it that stretches around it. Looks some like cryptic tribal something. I don't know. I liked it. It stood out, and that's what I wear. But mine's a men's ring. I don't have diamonds or anything in it, and I'm not worried about it, losing it. I think we paid like $200 for this thing. But right now, the black rings that are out there, you're like going, well, why are people wearing black rings? You would think, a marriage or a wedding or something like that, you would want to wear something festive, like my wife's camouflage one, Mossy Oaks. Well, looking for a sponsor there. So, swingers now explain why the black rings, after the real meaning, are exposed. There are rules around how swingers' signal must be worn, the signal to let other swingers that you are available. While swinging lifestyle has been knocked around for about, I swear to God, these articles, when I read them, nobody talks like this. Can't they just Jess Battison, who wrote this article? Let's see if we can try this again. While the swinging lifestyle has been knocking about for donks, people remain fascinated by the workings and the scale of it. Who talks like that? Who talks like that? Let's continue. From the discovery that spicy cruises exist and learning the signs of spotting one, many questions and myths continue. One of the subtitles of swingers tradition can be spotted in plain sight. That's on their finger. Far more low-key than sticking an upside-down pineapple sticker on the cabin door. An ex-cruise ship worker explains that some people will wear a black ring to send out a signal. That signal obviously being an indication that they are a real swinger and looking for others to have fun. There's even a whole site dedicated to selling the accessories to help swingers send a clear message while they are out and about. All right. Doesn't give the website here, I guess. My black ring. Oh, that's what it is. My black ring. That could go. You might have some flags if you put something else in there. Don't put cock in there anywhere. My black ring sells a variety of styles of reviews saying that wearing theirs to a bar was like being a part of a secret club where everyone knows that. Oh, Jesus Christ. I swear to fucking God. These fucking articles. She's trying to sound fancier than she is. Just say it. It's like being a part of a secret club where everyone finds out that everyone's friendly and delightful. Just fucking say that in the article. Jesus Christ. At the end, the site explains that wearing the ring really means as well as little the rules around it. Jesus Christ, this lady. Most obviously being that it must be black. All right, so there you go. It says that the black ring should be worn on the right hand on any finger but the middle one. So it can be, it's not any finger. It just can't be worn on the middle one. Just put it that way. The black ring worn on the middle finger, the quote starts out by saying, on the right hand is an infrequently used symbol of asexuality. It adds, please avoid wearing your ring on this finger as a courtesy to that community. Well, that's the least we can do, isn't it? Isn't it the least we can do is not offend the asexuality community by having a black ring on our finger? No, you don't want to do that. That would piss someone off. Ignore the fact that you're running around looking for couples to shack up with. The site says wearing the ring finger helps the effort to help us all discreetly identify others in the swinging lifestyle. It explains, wear your black ring on your right hand if you're out and open to meeting other swingers. The ring is to be worn only when you want to be recognized by other swingers. And this is a way, quote, way to start a conversation. Hey, do you like boning? Issuing advice to swingers, it advertises to start a conversation if you are seeking someone sporting a black ring on their right hand. A starter to the chat on approach is suggested to be, I see you're wearing a black ring on your right hand. Maybe we're in the same club. That's a good icebreaker, you know. It also says by wearing a black ring does not necessarily mean you are polyamorous, but just means you are a swinger. All right. You may also happen to be polyamorous, but the black ring is not meant for a symbol of polyamory. The site explains even more. So there you go. If you got, you're going to look around your office tomorrow morning, you're walking around, you see someone with a black ring on their hand, you're like, whoa, Taylor, you got a black ring on your white hand, on your right hand. It's so lovely on your white hand. Oh, it's on your middle finger? Oh, you're one of those. Well, don't shoot us up. When we come back, this teacher, school teacher, high school teacher, hypnotized some of his students. And what happened to him later on? He's getting blamed for it. So I'll dive into that story and what happened there. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Don't forget all the musical artists that you hear during the breaks and stuff are all independent artists. They are trying to get their name out there. They're not signed. They're not on any record labels. There's a couple independent record labels that are on there, but not like your mainstream record labels. Is there record labels anymore? Can we do this without a record label? I guess you would have to. If you want to be like Taylor Swift level or something like that. But a lot of people are just happy with getting a couple shekels from their Spotify account. And the way you can listen to all these songs, the full-length songs of all the different artists that we've had here on the last year and a half of shows, go over to Spotify and search Music Heard on Deacon Live. You can hear all the full-length songs over there from their channels. And it's a playlist, so you can bring it with you while you're on long trips or something like that, or if you're in the gym. There's some great artists in there, some artists you're like going, wow, this is amazing. There's some AI artists on there. You tell me who they are. I'll send you out a magnet or a sticker or something. But there's some interesting people out there. All genres, all walks of life are over there on the Music Heard on Spotify. Music Heard on Deacon Live over on Spotify. Let's put it that way. I got some new headphones here. Speaking of sponsorships and stuff, I bought these from Sweetwater, and they're a little bit different. They're not as noisy as the other ones. They're a little bit simpler. My other ones that I have here, if you're watching this here on the YouTube channel, that's what I was getting into. That's just me moving around the joints of this thing. These headphones I've had for, I think, 4 or 5 years now, and they're just done. But the headphones I have now, they're one piece and they're nice and tight, and they don't look like marshmallows on my ears like the ones I sent back. Anyways, back to the show. This woman right here, authorities in Michigan, arrested 36-year-old mother in connection with the death of her 1-year-old son after she allegedly turned the thermostat up to 90 degrees and left him in his crib where the heater was pointed directly at him. Deputies took Corina Elizabeth Peters into custody earlier this month and charged her with 1 count of homicide by involuntary manslaughter and second-degree child abuse in the death of her child, Enzo Peters. The police and the emergency medical personnel responded to a 911 call from Peters' home in the 1000 block of East Street about 9:48 a.m. regarding a reported of a child deceased. Upon arrival at the address, the first responders located the victim unresponsive and still inside the crib. Oh, little guy didn't have a fighting chance. The toddler was pronounced dead at the scene. Prosecutors reportedly alleged in the court documents that Peter exposed the 19-month-old boy to an unsafe level of heat, in which led to his death. Authorities investigated the circumstances of Enzo, the boy's death, for several weeks before placing Peters under arrest on February 2nd. She appeared in the Monroe Court District Judge chambers on February 4th for her arraignment, which the judge set her bond at $750,000. Man, Jesus. The police report obtained by the Toledo's affiliate provided some additional information about the event preceding the boy's death. The police said, here's what happened. The police scene reported noted that inside Peter's home was very, very warm. At least the heat was set around 90 degrees. The bedroom where the child was found was especially hot due to multiple vents blowing the hot air in the room. In addition to the thermostat, investigators reportedly said that Peters had positioned a portable space heater in the room and had it turned on high and pointed directly at the boy's crib. She friggin' barbecued the kid. Investigators used the same make and model space heaters to conduct the test, turning it into the highest setting and facing it to the crib. Inside the crib reportedly got as high as the high 90s in the crib. Authorities further noted that the home itself was a deplorable condition, reported finding garbage, rotting food, dirty diapers throughout the inside. She had mental issues. She must have had mental issues. That's mental issues, okay? That's mental issues when something like that. There's no, I'm a woman, I'm a man, or whatever. That right there is mental issues. That woman probably had a child. Your hormones, 19 months, your hormones change. There is something called postpartum depression. Things happen. You hate the child. You don't want to be around the child. You feel whatever. It's a mental health. It's a mental issue. And she was probably by herself. There's no reports of a husband or any kind of family member there. So let's continue with the article. The rough timeline showed that Enzo was put to bed around 9:30 p.m. on December 22nd. When someone checked on the toddler about 2 a.m., he reportedly woke up briefly before going back to sleep. So there's someone else in the house living in this filth and is okay with that, which I have a problem with. Someone else in the house checked on him around 9:45 a.m. and found him unresponsive. The subsequent autopsy conducted by the coroner's office reported that Enzo had internal and external signs indicating that he suffered heat-related injuries and dehydration. There was no evidence that the boy suffered any blunt force trauma, and determination on the matter was caused. The death remains pending. Investigators are waiting for lab results. Peter is scheduled for appearance in court on February 19th for probable cases and blah, 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 blah. So, that's a true sign of mental health issues. When you do that to a child, when you do something like that, thinking in your mind, oh, it's cold out. I have to keep the baby warm. And there's other people in the house too. Then there's something else going on. If you're in shambles, let's outside the mental health thing. Let's start throwing like drug addiction and stuff. If I'm in a house with a mental ill person, I'd be like, hey, Susie, can we turn the heat down a little bit? I'm fucking melting in here. I know it's 4 degrees outside. It doesn't need to be fucking sunny Florida inside here at 98 degrees. Can we turn it down to a cool 70? Can we agree on 70 degrees? But what about Enzo? Enzo's fucking sweating his ass off in the crib. You got him wrapped up tighter than the kid from the Christmas Story running around in the crib. Can we turn the heat down a little bit? No, then I'll put the, I don't know why she's got an accent. Fuck it, she's got an accent. I'm going to put the heater in front of him. Keep him nice and muy frío, muy no frío. Ay caliente. That's what he is. I know I'm making light of it, but it's not, it's an issue that someone needs to look into. I would charge them both. I would charge both of them in that house for the death of that child. I would. Because the other one had to know, hey, this is not right. But we'll see. We'll see what happens when that goes on. Now, this teacher right here This teacher right here did one of those weekend courses. You ever seen people that they take like an online course and all of a sudden now they're a preacher or a person of the cloth, and they mail you out your certificate and you're like, oh, look, I passed. I'm now a preacher. I can claim myself tax-free on everything I buy and blah, 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 blah. This guy right here did something similar. And tried out what he learned on the students in this class. In the spring of 2011, a high school principal had his name splashed across the international front pages after emerging that three students had taken their own lives following hypnosis. Marcus Freeman, Kelly Wesley McKinley and Brittany Plumbo all died within weeks of each other, as well as all attending the same small-town Florida school. They also had another thing in common. They underwent hypnosis. They underwent a hypnosis session from their principal, Dr. George Kenny. Kenny had worked at the Northport High School for several years when this tragedy unfolded, before serving as both educational leader and supportively and a supposedly self-trained hypnotist. Let's go that route. He held private sessions with a number of his students during his tenure, despite never having received a license to practice hypnotherapy. Do you need a license to practice hypnotherapy? Isn't it like hoo-ha anyways? Hey, I'm a magician. Do you have your license? I'm a card member. I mean, it's kind of like that, right? His sole experience hinged upon the 5-day course at the National Guild of Hypnosis that took place at the Omni Hypnosis Care Center 2 years prior. So he just did like an afternoon class, getting his medical degree or something. Despite this, Kennedy believed that his mystical powers had helped hordes of clients, especially when it came down to making improvements on each other's athletic abilities and academic abilities as well for some students. He specifically sought to aid those battles of test anxiety. Can you help me with reading anxiety? Difficulties in focusing and physical conditions inhibiting them from reaching their full potential and and he also videotaped and documented each session. A number of students admitted to having also believed that their principal's capabilities, including Eric Williams, who told producers of the documentary True Crime Stories, Look Into My Eyes, that Kennedy had helped them improve his test score. He did. He helped me. Another one, Stephen Ware, credits him with helping him graduate high school on time and attending college. You could trust them, he says. It's like the main key between the patient and the therapist is that trust. You're still coherent enough, but your subconscious takes over. You're in a dream state. But he states you at any time are not okay with something, you are free to come back. All right. It wasn't until the 3 students died, however, each days after being hypnotized by Kennedy, that several parents began voicing concerns and have initially given their consent to the sessions by signing a permission slip. That old faithful permission slip. We're going to SeaWorld. Sorry, Mrs. Darby, we lost your kid at the whale encounter, but I signed a permission slip. Yeah, so we're not, you can't sue us. You signed the permission slip. We're good to go. We're free and clear. They accuse the principal of placing the children into a trance without explaining the possibility or ramifications this could have on their well-being, including their potential susceptible to suicidal thoughts. Though Kenny long denied performing hypnosis with adverse effects on students. The first incident involved 16-year-old Freeman, whose best friend Derek Thomas told later to the press that he had taken up Kenny's hypnosis in hoping of minimizing his pain threshold prior to the football games. It's pain leaving the body, right? Thomas claimed that the principal put Freeman into a trance where he couldn't feel his own body. This allegedly allowed him to take hits from kids 3 times his size and just keep going. Kenny insisted he responded, however, that he thought that he sought to help his students see things more slowly on the field. So he kind of slowed down his perception and stuff, I guess. I don't know. I don't understand hypnosis. And it's what do they say? If you don't believe in it, you can never be hypnotized. It's not like sleep. They grab your arm, sleep. On March 15th, Freeman had been driving his girlfriend home from the dentist appointment. She later told police that a strange look had grown upon his face before he veered off the road and crashed into a tree, dying in a wreck. So he killed himself, I guess. The second victim, McKinley, 16, took his own life on April 16 that same year. He visited Kenny the day prior, undergoing hypnosis and aimed at minimizing his nerves ahead of an incoming high-stakes audition for the prestigious musical school Juilliard. Afterwards, his mother claimed that the aspiring musician had exhibited almost zombie-like behavior and claimed in the same documentary, it was Friday afternoon. Wesley had come home from school, walked past me, put his books down on the table, walked out the back door, and he told his friends we're coming over. I asked what time they were coming over, and he just walked past me and out the back door. Later, I heard sirens. Following the criticism, Kenny claims that McKinley had been a victim of drama behind the scenes. I don't understand what happened on. So this guy, is it coincidence? I don't know. Why? What does he benefit from it? What does he benefit from putting these kids under hypnosis and then here's your sleeper cell word, and you give them a sleeper cell word and they just turn in, was it the Manchurian Candidate? And you go kill. All right, and dog fart, and then you're out of it, right? Dog fart, you're out. So I mean, maybe he's not doing it right. I mean, it was a 5-day course. Maybe it was a 10-day course or like day 6. Hey, Mr. Dr. Kenny, make sure you come back because we need to do the thing where you teach the kids how to come out of the hypnosis. And he's like, oh, no, I'm fine. I'm out of here. No, I got everything. I know how to get them out. I've seen it on TV. You just snap your fingers and say, awake. That's it. Got it. All right, see you later. And then he does these things on these kids, and these three kids end up killing themselves. But look at it this way. They're already going, hear me out, to see him because they already have an issue. What was the one kid? He wanted to take more hits at football practice, want to hit bigger kids without being hurt. Well, yeah, you know what happens when you get hit by bigger kids? Concussions. And when the kid was driving home, from going to the dentist, sometimes that Novocaine or something will click something in your brain, especially if you got CTE or whatever like that. And he just probably said, brain, took a hard right. The other person was dealing with drama stress. And, probably just the whole entire stress of going to Juilliard. That's all he wanted to do. Probably was being picked on. Who knows? He might have been, quote unquote, little fruity at the school, or they looked at him as different or weird or something like that. I say fruity, you know what I mean. Oh, you want to go to Juilliard? What are you going to be, a musician? You're going to be something like that? I'm going to play a banjo, or I'm going to play a trumpet, or, something like that. He probably got picked on at school, and he's like, hey, Mom, my friends are coming over. And he goes out in the backyard, and I don't know, it didn't say whether he killed himself or whatever. There was already an underlying score there that was these kids were dealing with. That's why they went to him. Maybe you should do hypnotherapist to get out of whatever funk you're in. And they're just trying to put the blame on him. You need to put the blame on the kids. Bullying and doing all this stuff. I'm just speaking out loud, but I'm looking at it at a different angle. You just can't go, okay, this guy did it. Everything matches up, because there's a lot more other lottery balls in that pile that could pop up that could have caused this thing. All right, when we come back, why is Joe so hungry? If you've not seen this guy, at first I thought he was goddamn annoying. And you could see this in real time as we're talking about here on the show over on YouTube. I thought it was annoying. He's got so many different camera angles, and every time he says a sentence, he looks at a camera, and if you're watching this here on YouTube, and he looks at this camera when it cuts to here, and it's this and everything, and it's all like chopped up and stuff. But what he does, he goes to the drive-thru at all these fast food restaurants, orders something, and then picks them apart. And the way he does it, he's probably in his mid-60s or something like that. He doesn't look like he's married or anything like that. He doesn't have a black ring on his right hand, so I don't know what's going on. I'll have to watch the video, and you can watch it too when we come back. So we'll dive into his story and what makes him so hungry. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Don't forget, we'd love to hear from you. You can be part of the show. We broadcast every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a little town we like to call Marshville. We have about 2,500 people that live in this little town of ours. and that's where we reside. That's where we broadcast out of. And you can see all the different shows that come out of the studio. The Prophet Radio studio, proud sponsor of all the fine entertainment shows that come out of here. And the way you see all those is go to prophetradio.com. We're getting ready to revamp the whole website, so it's going to get updated, a little bit more streamlined and everything. But go check that out over at prophetradio.com. While you're over there, you can get yourself some free swag, some magnets, some stickers. We got some keychains, headphones, things like that. Go to Prophet Radio, hit free swag, pick yourself something out over there, and we'll mail it out to you. Just their way of saying thank you for listening to all the fine programming. Now, this gentleman right here, my TikTok logarithm, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is always way off base. Just because of the nature of the business that I'm in, I'll go down this rabbit hole, and then all of a sudden I'll take a hard right, and I'm like, oh, no, what's this over here? And I'll go this way, and I'll go this way. I don't know how the hell I came across this guy, but this guy is his TikTok page. What's it called? I think it's called, yeah. His TikTok page is called Joe is Hungry Bite. B-I-T-E. Bite. Like I said, he's a 6-year-old guy. Let me switch over to camera 3 here. You can see him right now. And what he does is he goes to fast food restaurants and he sticks thermometers in food. And not only that, he breaks it down too as well. And this is a real short video here. I'll show you the full length, like from soup to nuts, as far as what he does. The video that you're looking at right now over on our YouTube channel, he's gotten the new cheesy bacon double from Wendy's, and he's got this. I've got the same meat thermometer that he does. It's red and black. It's digital, and it's got this maybe 6-inch long probe, and he just shoves it right in the hamburger, foil wrapper and all, shoves it in there, and he gives the temperature. At the top of the screen this short little video we're watching right now, it says ordered to food in hand, 3 minutes and 50 seconds. So he's sitting there going, what's the internal temperature of these cheesy bacon cheeseburgers that he got at Wendy's? So I'm going to turn them up here a little bit, and are we on camera 3? Yeah, we're on camera 3. So here we go. This is Joe is Hungry, and this is just him reviewing this Wendy's hamburger.
50.1 degrees Fahrenheit. Cheesy bacon number 2 is 149.0 degrees Fahrenheit.
Got it.
Cheesy bacon number 3 is 147.9 degrees Fahrenheit. If you've been watching my channel any length of time, you know I like my temperatures at 140 degrees or above. Hotter is always better. I would have thought they would have been a little...
He's got a baseball bat in his back window there. Joe, what do you got going on here? And he must have 15 cameras in his car, because every time he says a sentence, he's turning to that camera. So the editing time for these videos has got to be monstrous. So let Joe continue.
A bit warmer than that today, but they still pass. The Joe is Hungry temperature test. Now it's time to open the lid. Check out the cheese. Count every little scrap of bacon. Head back to the studios and...
Collapses in.
The Joe.
Now he's back in his studio, and he's got pizza boxes on the wall. He's got boxes of empty cartons and stuff stacked up around him. He's got all the stuff from fast food places just surrounding him in this room, his studio. No wonder his wife left him. Oh, I didn't see if he's got a ring on or not. Here we go. So he's back in the studio, and he's going to dissect the Wendy's hamburger. So here we go. Go.
Hungry weight test. Well, Wendy's, you did all right on that temperature test. The next question I have, can you make all these the same size? How is your portion control? Well, we're about to find out when we take off for this packaging. In other words, set the tear on the scales.
Yep. A lot of sounds. So he weighed the wrapper itself to find out what the wrapper weighs, and then he's going to weigh each hamburger to see if it's uniform throughout the whole entire thing. So here we go. Yep. Flip. Spin it around. Throw it. He slaps his hands and everything appears in front of him. Here's
cheesy bacon number 1 is 8.30 ounces or 235 grams.
Okay.
Cheesy bacon number 2 is 9.05 ounces
a little
or
high.
257 grams. Cheesy bacon number 3 again weighs in at 8.30 ounces or 235 grams. Well, the difference between the heaviest and the lightest is less than 10% of the average weight of all three. So today, Wendy's, you pass the Joe is Hungry consistency weight test. Well, Wendy's, they don't have any serving weights nor nutritional information, so all I have left to do is add them all up, average them out, do the math, and you come up with a fairly high 90 cents an ounce, which leads us on to the next test, the one and only the Joe is hungry. Big reveal.
And he's got this like little this little carousel table in front of him, and he's spinning it around. He's slapping his hand every time he's doing the thing. I know I'm clipping the microphone here. He slaps his hand. So that's him doing the Wendy's thing. This is my favorite. And the only reason why it's my favorite is because he's going to Burger King. So here he goes. This is Joe going to Burger King. He's going to try or test out the Burger King Classic Big King Combo, or just a hamburger itself. So let's see. Joe, take it away.
In Cartersville, Georgia.
So he pulls in. It's all fast motion here. He pulls into the drive-thru, pulls around, pulls up. He's going to order. He's waiting. He's waiting. He's getting impatient. He's got to have the tism. He's got to have the tism. He does, because every time he's looking around, he's getting impatient. He's scratching himself. He doesn't have a black ring on, by the way. And he's sitting there. Here he goes.
Could I get 4 Bacon Kings and a medium Diet Coke?
Switch to the camera.
And the fries?
No fries.
No fries.
I got to my friend. Second one, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Switch to the camera.
Thank you.
Starts his car up. Drives around. Gets to the window. Gets his Diet Coke. His change. And
My friends,
Uh-oh.
give me like, a good 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay.
I'm going for you nice and hot and fresh.
Not a problem.
Give me like 5 minutes. Take it on.
Right there at the penalty box, that one?
so one of the hamburgers isn't ready. So he's like, all right, well, can you pull up forward and I'll bring it out to you. So he pulls up forward, sits there, sips his Diet Coke, waiting. He's so anxious. He's so anxious.
We're officially in the Burger King penalty box.
Appreciate it, wait.
All right, my friend.
Here he goes.
All right. Thank you. See ya.
So he starts his car up, drives forward.
I've got my Bacon Kings. Let's get out of the penalty box and do the...
So from order to food in hand was 3 minutes and 42 seconds. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's what he's saying.
Joe is hungry. Temperature test.
He pulls into the parking lot, same parking lot, Burger King, backs up, rolls his window up. It's weird. Here he goes. He's temping him.
Bacon King number 1 is 157.3 degrees Fahrenheit. Bacon King number 2 is 162.3 degrees Fahrenheit. Bacon King number 3 is 158.7 degrees Fahrenheit. If you've been watching my channel, you know I like my temperatures at 140 degrees or above. Hotter is always better. Well, for Burger King, this is pretty darn good, because today they passed the Joe is hungry.
Yay! All right.
Now it's time to pop the top, make a very thorough examination, count every single microgram of bacon.
He's switching
head
from
back
camera
the
to
studio,
camera.
man. Dude, the Joe is hungry weight test. Well, Burger King, you did all right on that temperature test. I'll give you that.
All right.
And I appreciate you getting them out in a very timely manner.
All right, so let's get to the weight here, Joe. Sorry, I hate to rush you along here. He goes.
Bacon King number 1 is 12.04 ounces, or 341 grams.
Okay.
Bacon King number 2 is 12.61 ounces, or 358 grams.
A little heavier.
Bacon King number 3 weighs in at 12.59 ounces, or 357 grams. Well, the difference between the heaviest and the lightest is less than 10% of the average weight of all three. So today, Burger King, Cartersville, you pass the Joe is hungry
Yay!
consistency weight test. Well, Burger King, they don't have any serving weights, no nutritional information.
All right, so let's see. Now, this is the part that I want you to see. He's got the camera angle like he's doing a commercial. The hamburger's rotating around. He's doing slow motion. He's, from all different angles. It's sitting on a mirror table. There's an upside view. It's a lot of production in this. There's the bacon. He dissects the hamburger. It's still spinning around. There's the cheese. There's the toppings. All right, here he goes. He's just sitting in front of it. He's so weird. He's got this knife. Everything's in fast motion. Cuts the hamburger in half. The Bacon King. Oh, I love a Bacon King. Oh, Jesus. Push the camera to camera 1, then camera 2, and sets him down. Spins that thing again. Smacks his hands.
This is what it looks like, and this is what it's supposed to look like. This is what it looks like.
That looks good to me.
This is what it's supposed to look like.
I like the other one better.
Well, we've seen what it looks like, and we saw how much it was. The price, not too terribly far out of line as far as what it looks like.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of a smashed, messy version of the ad photo, which is obviously
It's
ad
fast
photo posted
food.
by Burger King. They do that routinely. However, there is the issue of the bacon. I just happen to have post-autopsy photos right up here in the corner.
3 strips of bacon.
And I'm counting full 3 slices of bacon broken up into pieces. As a note, on their original press release back in 2016, they said they had 6 full slices of bacon.
Oh!
My, how times have changed.
Uh-oh.
Well,
I'm getting gypped.
Now it's time for the final test. One and only. The Joe is Hungry bite test. So it is.
Camera 2.
Bite test. Engage.
On slow motion. He's taking all these different bites in slow motion. Sets the hamburger down, takes his Diet Coke, loves his Diet Coke. I'll just mute this down a little bit. Takes another bite. Oh, man, I want one now. Joe, you're making me hungry. Joe, stop with the hamburger bites. So tell us how it is. Come on, Joe. Let's go. Now he's looking at the camera, thinking about it. Looking at camera number 14. Camera number 17. Takes a sip of his Diet Coke. He's thinking about it.
The bread appears to be fresh, soft, and a little bit fragile. The bacon, it's savory, but a little bit on the chewy side. Those 6 1/2 slices of bacon, they seem to do the job all right, and I can see the cheese. I can actually taste it. They doused it with so much mayonnaise and ketchup, it made the burger moist and frankly a little bit messy. If I were you, I would get extra napkins if you're gonna get one of these. The burger patties were well cooked with that signature liquid smoke flavor
Yes.
that we're all familiar with.
Yes, we are.
With that being said, let's track Shadow Joe all the way back to Burger King and see what he thinks about all this and do the Joe is Hungry Sneak-a-Doodle Bite.
What is he?
Sneak-a-doodle bite. Number 1.
Oh, what is he?
Sneak-a-doodle bite. Number 2.
1 second. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
So I guess what he's done is he orders 4 and examines 3. That's why he ordered the 4th burger. And the 4th burger, I guess he bites there or eats it there in the car and then brings the other 3 back to his domain here. So here he goes. This is his final review.
Emeru, happy birthday. Well,
What did he say?
let's go ahead and get through
Hold on. What did he say?
number 2.
And just bite again.
1 second. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Emeru, happy birthday.
What the fuck is he talking?
Well, let's go ahead and get through Sneak-a-Doodle Bite number 3.
Oh, come on. So, all right. He's watching himself eat.
Dessert.
All right, here we go.
Nothing terribly exciting about the price. I mean, it's not out of line, no question about that. As far as the taste, a little bit above mid, sort of what I expect from Burger King.
Hey, don't be knocking Burger King.
Oh well, you did pass all the metrics today.
Good.
I'll give you that. So today, I'm gonna have to go 6.0. That is my number. This is my review, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.
Did he say 6.0? I think he did. Instead of 6.0. Come on, what the fuck do you want? It's Burger King. So he's got all these different videos out there, and some of them fail. Oh, like when he goes to Taco Bell, those are the ones that fail the most. They're like going, this one's like 2 ounces, this one's like 9 ounces. You know, it's the same goddamn thing, depending on who's running the line there. So there you go. Joe's Hungry. If you want something to watch on your TikTok video, once you're done watching all the different Deacon Live podcasts, check him out. Tell him that Deacon Live sent you over there and introduce you to Joe is Hungry. All right, guys. On that note, if you've enjoyed the show, make sure you follow us over on Facebook. You'll see all these articles, and I'll post all the different videos of Joe's Hungry up there. You can see those as well. Make sure you follow us over on YouTube. We are trying to go live. That's our goal for this year. Trying to go live for a whole entire show. We just did the first segment over on YouTube, but you can still see it over there. I think there was a couple hundred people watched the live one last week, the first 15 minutes of the show, and you can be one of those people this week. So jump on over to YouTube. Make sure you give us a subscribe over there. You can follow us over on TikTok under B Podcast Famous. You can see all the different podcasts that come out of this studio. And Prophet Radio, go over there and get yourself something free. Prophet Radio, PROPHET radio.com. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to let's get back to doing what you got to do. My name is the Deacon saying good night and good night.
This is the end. The absolute end.
Écoute-moi.
Bye.